be next Thursday will be President-elect of the Alabama County Commissioners Association. That's the first time we've had anyone in a leadership role in quite some time, and that's a big honor and a huge responsibility, Commissioner Wright. We know you're up to the task, and we'll look forward to going down there and hearing some of your anecdotes that you have for the county commission. That's going to be great.
There'll be no heckling, no smoking, no drinking while I'm speaking.
That's right. And I'll concur on that.
What are you going to do then?
I have something, a surprise.
It's going to be great. As we sit down and do this business, so that's remember why we're here and what we're here for. And let's begin this with a word of prayer, as we always do. Well, let's wait on our news media to come in, who is fashionably late. Come on in now.
Check out
Yeah. Not that I'm aware of.
I understand we had to start the meeting, they're gonna cancel.
Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for all our blessings. Thank you for dying on the cross for our sins. Just give us wisdom and power and love so we can treat each other the way you treat us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, let's begin. Good morning.
Thank you.
Let's begin with District 1.
Thank you.
Go right through it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a committee report for Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations. We have 3 items. The first is the Gartner Inc. This is an amendment to the existing contract. And then we also have an encroachment agreement with Douglas Elliman. And then number 3 is Duke's Root Control. Do you have any questions for Cal? Is there anyone that can speak to these 3 items?
Well, I've got a different version. I think yours is August 9th.
Oh,
For commission.
that's okay. We're talking about how to get yours.
I'll let
That's all right. So then I apologize for the clerk's sake. It looks as though, yeah, my goodness, we have a lot more. So we have items 1 through 8, and excuse me, so I mentioned about those others. Let me restart. We have the Video Industrial Services. This is about project that's in Mountain Brook. We have number 2 is Suncoast Infrastructure. Number 3 is BH Grade Construction, which is 5 Mile Creek Project. Municipal Consultants. Item number 5 is ALDOT Agreement. Number 6 is Wilson Mitigation, DBA, Servpro of Birmingham. Number 7 is DEC Fire and Water Restoration. Number 8 is Acela, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's 2022 Permitting System Enhancement. So do we have any questions regarding items 1 through 8?
I got one on Acela. Acela for ESD is the same as Acela for development services.
So when you're doing a development, part of the development is getting your sewer hookup permit, you kind of coordinate it all together.
So is this just paying for, so 25,000 just paying for module on Acela? Is that right?
It's sorry.
The nerding is coming out when you talk about something.
This is just it makes improvements to the system that we already have on the permitting system. Just make it easier for customers and everybody else.
Alright.
Second, I do have a question on 4, the municipal consultants. Is that project complete? We're terminating?
Well, yes, we're transitioning to rehab instead of line replacement there, so yeah, that's probably terminating. And I want to add number 3 is $4.3 million. That didn't show up on that, at least my copy, so.
No, it doesn't have an amount on here. You got it here? You got it?
Sorry about that. I should have called that.
You got the what?
For now.
Okay.
Alright, so, we have items 1 through 8 that has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Alright, we have no additional business for District 1, thank you.
Can I ask,
Yes.
Dave, of course, when you pick the projects, for the sewer, from the district, how are they chosen?
So, we have a ranking system, we look at, particularly for the overflows, how much the volume of the overflow, how often it occurs, is it near, points of public contact, is it in the neighborhood, is it near healthcare facilities, is it near public waterway? And so we use all that to score all of our projects, we look at how much it costs versus, basically, how many gallons of overflow we do per dollar. And so that's how we rank all our projects, it's based on a scoring system for everything. Part of it also has to do with just design and how long it'll take, and so we try to phase it that way. So the way it's been ended up is the vast majority of the work we're doing is really coming out in Valley Creek, sort of the west end, all the way down to Bessemer. It's where the highest priority projects are like that and overflow now.
I would like to leave you and Cal.
Okay.
So that's a good segue into your community development and your resource needs and good things. You go ahead and proceed with it.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Department of Community Service, thank you.
We have 6 items this morning. The first one is a cooperation agreement for the Tarrant General Fund Storm Shelter. That will be paid for, of course, out of general funds. Number 2 is an amendment to our CDBG DR 2013 Action Plan Amendment. We had some funds left over from our disaster funds, and we're proposing to use a portion of those for some infrastructure improvements up at Hallmark Farms. Number 3 is basically a resolution authorizing the commission president to sign the license agreement for the confidentiality COC agency group 1 group for our staff to use the HMIA system, which is a system that basically puts in confidential information to those that benefit from various homeless programs. Number 4 is basically to approve 2 members on our existing EDA revolving loan fund. That's Grant Lauderdale that you all approved sometime back in Monte Kelly, for them to be reappointed to the board, and that term will expire on May 2025. Number 5 is a request to accept some additional funds from the state of Alabama on a voluntary basis for ERAP 2 funds not to exceed $20,000. I do want to briefly just explain this.
That says 20 million on mine.
I said 20,000, 20 million, I'm sorry, $20 million. We basically are out of funds. We have about 2,000 cases in a backlog, and we only have $12 million, so the state has again asked us to consider asking for some additional funds from them. Also, number 6 is a request from Treasury. We did have some slow spenders throughout the country, and because we were spending our money. Yes, sir.
Go back to the last one.
Yes, sir.
Where are these applications located?
With our partners.
With our partners, and those partners we're dealing with rental assistance in Mortgage.
Just rental assistance.
Just rental.
Yes, sir.
And these rental locations are located
Throughout the county.
throughout.
Excluding Birmingham.
Yes, they're excluding Birmingham.
Yes, sir.
So all of this is if I had someone in rental assistance in Hueytown
Absolutely.
or in Gardendale
Absolutely.
or in Livingston or in Fairfield, it's covered there, but it doesn't include downtown or Birmingham.
They have, that's right, they have done.
And that's its own problem.
That's what, this is not CDBG, that's what's out.
That's what it includes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, go ahead.
And since you stopped him, I do want to say that I've seen the agency that we do have working on these projects was like it don't say the agency's name, it says Jefferson County is the top three. And that's really, it's huge. So we're gonna present that once we get the certificate and everything, that we really number one. And I just want to say top three until I get the paperwork.
Not three what?
Top three in agencies that give out and help citizens with, low income, that need assistance with utilities and running systems.
Well, $50 million, you might.
But then you got people, but you got other people in other states that have way more money than this, and they can't do it. They can't put it off like Jefferson County put it off. They got $700 million and can't do it, and the poverty rate is much higher than ours. So what's this saying about Jefferson County? We taking care of our citizens.
What's this, Doug Hamilton, what time period is this?
We have until 2025 to spend $50.
So it's $50 million over 3 years.
And the other states, they are turning their money back in because they are not able to pull off the tax.
Well,
So that means our agency is doing the work.
well, I want to say this. One of the reasons we've been asked to do this is because of the way this program has been administered. And I do want to acknowledge our consultation with Widow Bryan and our staff, but the county has basically done a great job in implementing the program. Now,
All right, let me ask this, after 3 years, how do you sustain it? Or will there be other coming out?
I don't think there'll be anything after this, so I think if there's anything left after the end of 2025, then that would potentially go back to the government.
So,
Go ahead, 'cause I saw it.
so I want to be clear. We're saying that over a period of 3 years, that we're looking at $50 million, right?
Actually, I'm about to ask you for some more.
No, well, because honestly, to be candid, I was thinking like, well, that's not a lot of money, not over 3 years. Once you put the 3-year element in it, then that's what made me want to inquire. And so I'm assuming, because I don't know, I have an idea of the agency. Is there agencies or agency that the county is using?
It's 2 of them.
It is 2 of them. Okay, and so that being said, I would be interested in knowing how those funds will be distributed in terms of, is that equally over a certain period of time, what that actually looks like. Because see, for me, I'll divide $350 million, right? And then in my mind, I'm saying, okay, then this should amount to X amount per year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I would be interested in knowing also, what does that look like in terms of the number of residents that we are assisting? You see what I mean? And so, I don't want to be putting something in my head right now. I'm not very calculative this morning, but usually, like I said, I can count money if I can't do nothing else. All right, so if that's divided by 3, then you basically talking about $16,600,000 per year. Is that right?
That is correct, and I want to tell you right now, our spend rate right now for both of our agencies is about a little over 1.5 million per month. Yeah, and that's why we actually have led me into a calculation that Widow Bryan just did, that really they're asking that we really requested another $22 million on top of the 50 for $72 million.
And so the $22 million, what would be considered the funding source?
It would be the same funding, you got 2.
No, well, I'm saying, are we looking for like additional federal dollars that we're getting for that to come from?
Yes, yes. It'd be coming from Treasury.
Okay, but I'm saying not the dollars that goes to the county, it's the dollars that comes directly from the federal government to the community development. You know what we're saying?
Which comes directly to the county.
Comes to the county by way of your department, but I'm saying, but they're community development dollars specific.
Yes.
Is that what I mean, Gary?
Like it's separate from our ARPA money.
Separate from our.
A-Rap 2.
Yeah, that's all I want to know is it separate?
It is.
Is it and above?
It is.
Okay. Okay, well, I mean, if your spending rate is over $1 million per month, then that's
It's been more than that.
Well, let me say this,
Yeah,
plus the ERAP 2 guidelines are different from ERAP 1. On ERAP 1, you had to have a COVID impact. This one, you just have to be income eligible and be within the time frame that these funds were issued from the government up to now. So basically, anybody having any rental assistance need would be eligible to meet that project.
Doc, what in the world are these people gonna do when this money dries up? That's the question I've got, and I'm very concerned. This is designed to be a hand up, to give people an opportunity to make it. And if you're telling me the spin rate is getting greater now, that means more people are getting on it, and it's become a handout.
Not necessarily.
All right, let me finish, and then you can speak, okay? Now, this spend rate should be going down as more people are coming out of COVID, whether this is COVID money or not. You need, your goal, your job, is to make them more productive and to be able to take care of themselves. And I'm gonna look to you to make sure that gets done. I know that every commissioner here wants these people to be self-sufficient and can see as soon as these funds dry up, they're gonna come up and you're going to have a larger population that is dependent on what's going on. And how are we gonna do that? And I hear Commissioner Cotton, let her rebut that. But I can't see a way out of it, and I can see when these funds dry up, that things are gonna get real tough around here for a lot of people who really don't deserve that. Are you explaining it to them? This money is for X amount of period of time, we need this to be a hand to us, or you help them get jobs, you help them get self-sufficient, help them to bring them out of the poverty which they're in. If you're doing that, you're doing your job. If you're not, you're not doing anything but pushing them down the road, you're gonna create a great deal of problem.
This money can only pay their bills. It's not paying it up for a year, 2 years. It's not paying their bills like that. They can only pay it for a month.
1 month?
1 month or 2 months.
Well, it's in the arrears too. So in other words, if my utilities are in the arrears for 3 or 4 months, it goes back 3 or 4 months and covers that.
And see, it's not gonna pay it no longer than that. So they're on their own after that anyway. They can't come and apply again. It's not like it's 12 months and a year. So if they pay 3, that's it. They can't come back again and get it again. It's not like it's not like that. You can take one bite out of that cake and you are the full. That's it for them. So we are not trying, they are not taking care of these people 12 months out of the year. So they on their own regardless after 3 months.
Well, why is it more now than?
Because it's more poor people. Every day.
Again, that goes back to
People
what I
falling into
said.
poverty every day.
Again, that goes back to what I said. People are.
But it ain't the same people who we paying. It's not the same, it's different people. So it's something wrong with the economy. If more people, if I got 5 beans in 5 people in a bag, if I take 5 out, that should only leave 5. But then if it's more people that's falling into poverty, jumping in that bag, these 5 people, we done already rescued them. So there's something wrong with the economy if more people keep falling into that category. You can't put it on a program, and it ain't up to him to pull them out.
Can I add to that? Because I think there's also a misnomer that, when we talk about unemployment rate is very, very low. Our workforce participation rate is unfortunately low. It's at like 57.2%. Don't give me the point, whatever. Pre-pandemic, it was more like at 62%. We don't know exactly if it's people not getting back into the workforce or who's retired early and just hasn't come back and won't come back. But I get your point, but at some point, every employer out there is looking for somebody, and we have to upskill. And I know that workforce needs to be on it big time because we tout that we have great workforce that employers can come here and find a good workforce. We got to put our money where our mouth is and make sure that we get education programs and kids coming out of school ready for the workforce for sure.
So when, based on what the president is asking and what I would ask you, Cal, I respect for Mr. President, I'd like to see Helen to put something out in terms of a news release so that once these funds have been approved by us, that there's a clear outline in terms of the length of this project. I don't, I think a little differently than Mr. President. I don't think we put that on the staff of the program itself, certainly whoever interacts with the general public, meaning those agencies that those dollars go to, sure, they should let them know, but I think from a county perspective, it's our fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the general public knows here are the dollars, here's the length of time the program will exist, so then no one has to be offended. I think and Commissioner Tyson, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but what I believe that is being stated this morning is that the cost of inflation has gone up. And because it has, you have more of a propensity for residents, even those who are working. You have the working poor, and then you have those who are on a fixed income, and then you have those who simply don't want to work, right? But right now, I think that between workforce development and trying to even utilize that part of the program that you all have that's dealing with, if a business closed and then they basically, I forgot the name of it, but basically you retrain them for a different type of job, you know what I mean? I think that once we equally put out that information as well, that we're able to help, but certainly inflation itself has taken on a different, it's kind of like pre-COVID, you could buy chicken for $2. I mean, that's just figuratively. Now you're talking about $10 because everybody's talking about the cost of shipping and then the war and all these other little things that come into place. So that's really what I believe that the commissioner is saying is that the inflation is here, and because it's here, we don't want to label people as such that it does appear, and I'm sure that
like they lazy and don't want to work.
Yeah, I think
when minimum wage is still the same, but when you go try to get a canned good that you bought 2 years ago for 53 cents, now it's $1.09. That's what's going on. Gas is high. You can't get a loaf of bread under $3. You got to look at that. All of that is affecting the citizens. And then you expect for them to live, and then these jobs are not paying no more than $10. So you still living, you are the working poor. You can't afford the gas. Insurance done went up. Their cars done went up. The rent, a slum, is $750 a month. And then you don't think if the federal government is giving us this money, we need to get it. And you can find signs, Commissioner Scales, in the service station. They got them. I have never, they everywhere, letting people know that this program exists. And the county the county is leading the whole program. Because I didn't even know the signs was out till I walked in one of the convenience stores in West End. I said, wow, what the county sign doing up here? Big old sign saying they paying utilities, the time, the place, the phone number, the website, all of that was on the sign. So that's good for us to help the citizens. And you can find them all out in those little rural areas. I was out there in Martintown. They out there. So they are spreading the word. They are allowing people to take advantage of these programs. And if the government is giving them, we are on a local level. The federal government is sending this money down. We would be crazy to turn it down.
Anything that I said.
I heard you, but I just felt like I needed to say.
What I said, visit the expectations within 3 years. You're going to have to tell these people.
We need to raise minimum wage. We need to tell the federal government.
Well, then we can't do
Well,
anything.
so we
What
can't
this
tell
is something we can do something about. And if we're going to give this, we need to let them know that this is a hand up, and that in 3 years, this $50 million is not going to be there. And that money is going to have to come somewhere. Jefferson County does not have that kind of money. It does not have that kind of money. And to give that kind of money out without an expectation of that it will come to an end, and this is a hand up for everyone, please. Let's get retrained during that period of time. Let's get a better job during that period of time, or let's get on some type of a permanent federal supplement between now and then. But because this money is going to be gone in 3 years, like you said. 3 years, so, and that was all I
I
said.
know,
That
but
was
when they
all I
get,
meant.
but when they fill out their paperwork for this program, they are given a workforce development, application and the number and access to all the information and the job that's available, on there. They're
We have
given
no
a
signs,
Yeah.
no signs that show
Yeah.
paragraph available,
and they,
job
Yeah.
opportunities available.
yeah,
Just
and they given a
communicate
food
that.
stamp
That's
app,
all
and they
I said.
also given a food stamp application for them to fill out a food stamp application. So these people know, they've been just doing this, and if you ain't never applied for public assistance, you would never know that. So it is available, and they are telling these people, they know it's only a 3-month fix. People know that, they know that, they think that we finna pay their bills for 12 months, Jimmy. I'm telling you, President, no, they do not. They know this a one-hit wonder around here.
Yes.
So let's move on. We got administrators, the 2 administrators.
It's the same that we have Birmingham Urban League and Bridge Ministries.
Okay.
And I do want to point out,
What is the administrative cost?
10%. Okay, so I do want to
So
point,
is that 10% of 50 million?
50 million.
it will be 10%. So I do want to point out that this is just a request. We have, I do want to point out before we put anything on the website that we are just requesting this thing. We have not been given this. So although we're requesting this, we may get some less, but this allows us to request up to that amount.
So let me ask you this very quickly before we move
Well,
on.
thank you for that, I thought this was done.
So let me ask this to, Dr. Hamilton. So there will be potentially some other dollars that may be realized, from the federal government beyond this $50 million, am I correct? And so because of that, you're already briefing the commission to let us be aware that, should the federal government issue additional dollars, I think really and truly all of us are saying the same thing. It's really, Carol, just a matter of making sure that Helen spells out everything to the general public, just what has already been done, even from a grassroots level. But you know, you got something official on behalf of the commission, and then these other dollars that hopefully we'll apply for, and if they are made available, then we'll make sure that the public gets another notification. But I will say that I just, if we would just be mindful that inflation dictates a different behavior.
I move 1 through 6.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Then first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we have anyone from family court, Mr. Fields, are you on the line?
I move the family towards $80,000, split the amount of children's costs for.
Can I get a
Second. Second.
It's been placed first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What are we voting on?
The number one, number four.
That's the end of my report.
No,
Yes,
Tyson, you
salary
got number
adjustment.
two.
Salary adjustment.
You might be in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. County Manager,
8%, okay.
I would prefer any salary adjustments for the budget year next month. Is this something that we need to do or something in a way, because we are looking hopefully for a COLA, and that just basically doubles it.
It's already in her budget. It's already.
Is this like an interim position, like,
It's
I
a
know
appointed
it's appointed,
position.
but I'm saying the fact that is it some type
I
of
think it's
salary
already in
increase
her
or
budget.
something temporary,
It's
like
already
maybe
in her
she's.
budget.
But the increase, you get the increase, and then you get the COLA on top of that.
And it's 13%
Appointed,
if it's a 5.
then that.
It's already in her
All
budget.
right, Mr. Kenny,
Well, maybe
turn to
can they speak?
That's an appointed position, that's appointed by the presiding judge, family court, that's her appointment.
That's her
Isn't
appointment.
it, but it's, is this an information only, is this, or is this our?
It's still county dollars, yes, but it's appointed.
And it's already in her budget.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to dictate to her how she give her supposed to rate.
In a month, it doubles it up, it
But-
would be 13%.
But do you think she don't know that?
And look, okay,
I'm just saying.
it's her budget,
It's her budget.
maybe.
Well, if
how,
if she weighs 8% of the new budget, turns into $4 and 8% of what you
So,
got.
Madam
They
Chair,
don't go into
why
October.
don't we do this, Mr. President? How about we can move this item, to the meeting at 11 o'clock, with the understanding that by then we can get Judge Hilliard, to give us some sort of explanation in terms of what this 8% actually really
And it
means.
don't start till October first, I just got the background.
Okay,
Well, why don't you just put it in the budget then?
We can pass her.
but can we just at least move the item to the agenda for 11, and then so she can, then we can get Judge Hilliard to give us some sort of official
Yeah.
understanding in terms of what this 8% represents?
That's your motion.
It is.
Not-
So
We're just moving it to the agenda.
We're gonna have a
So we
motion.
can get
I'll do
clarification.
that.
I'm good, I'll second.
Okay, it's been first, second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Well, that's.
That's just a move to the
that's
agenda.
just a
Let's
move
move
to
to
the-
the agenda. Thanks, Harper. That's the end.
Administrative Infrastructure Committee,
Oh.
you've got like a good bit, 11 items in the roads and trends. There's two more.
I'll move 1 to 11.
That's 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks in a row.
No.
Thank you.
That means, you know what that means? That means you're doing a good job in spending the money well.
Thank you.
All right, minutes from the previous commission meeting on August 11th. Motion, second, all in favor? All I have is 2 infrastructure items, one for city of Boone, another for the county of Brook Valley.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye. Aye, thank you very much. Commissioner Knight.
Hold on, Commissioner Tyson, didn't we have an item for new business district two? Did you do those?
Yeah, I didn't have, I had it.
Okay, 'cause I see one. Maybe that's, okay. Yeah, I mean, I know it's the old, but I wanted to make sure that you got an item like that, that's about to be.
We already did, yeah, we did.
We did that last time.
That's last.
That's the end of it.
All right. Finance, Ms. Dixon.
Good morning,
I'll
Commissioners.
move items 1 through 4.
Have a motion? Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
I move BMO and staff development.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We still have a budget agenda item.
Okay. Have a budget agenda item, roads and transportation capital.
This amount is to increase the expenses for reimbursement for ALDOT for the grants mill road.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, absentee election manager, Birmingham.
Move
Police.
item.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Do we have anybody from the circuit clerk absentee election manager on board? Have a motion and a second.
Wait a minute, is this on the circuit clerk?
Yeah, that's the Jackie for that.
This is already,
It's already.
what we did. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
General services. Ms. Wilkins, are you on?
There's, I can do that one, I think she's out. That's for upgrading the floor at the 2121 building for the public, defenders' offices. We've been working with them, and we believe we have a really good deal where they're gonna reimburse us a rental rate plus the cost of the remodeling. So we're really excited about the work Tricia's done. This is just the beginning of the.
Now, you set the expenses, are we gonna have additional revenue coming in from that?
Yeah, year after year, for sure.
That will go back to offset this project as a capital project. Okay.
That's a good point though, where if it just ends up in, if it has to be allocated appropriately.
It needs to go back for this particular project.
And not just general funds.
Because it's either invested or spent.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Steve moved it, and she was second. Right, yeah?
Yes.
Human resources? Retiree rehire resolution. Good morning.
Good morning. We have one item on the agenda. which is a resolution to establish the terms and provisions of the employee benefits available to retired county employees who are later reemployed by the county as provided by Act 2022-242.
In a brief summary, what are those terms and provisions, if you can?
So a couple of them, retirees enrolled in county retiree benefits will continue to have the benefit premiums deducted as a retiree or as a rehired retiree. And then another one is retirees who deferred retirement and are not receiving a pension check will be available or made available or able rather to receive benefits as an employee when rehired. So it's just establishing the benefits by which they'll receive and be deducted.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Move the item.
A motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Personnel board, is, information. Sorry, motion and second. All in favor, please say aye. I have a couple of community grants, one community grant for Birmingham Southern College. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Motion, second. All in favor, please say aye.
I did have a question,
On that?
please.
Yeah.
Because I may want to help. Tell me a little bit more about that, improvement that you're doing. Is there some kind of connection between Turkey Creek Nature Preserve and what? It's connected to something.
Well, it's a road in the park. I think it's very narrow, wide. Right, Zach? You hear?
Yeah, Commissioner Scales, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It's an improvement to their existing parking lot in there, but they're adding basically large stones and trying to prevent people from parking in inappropriate areas, and then it's going to be restriping the road that's the internal road in the preserve itself.
And that's on Birmingham Southern campus.
No, this is at Turkey Creek at the Nature Preserve.
So what is this?
Well, because that's who.
That ain't not the one nobody live at, is it?
The
One at Penson.
director.
Yeah.
Waterfalls.
That ain't where nobody live at?
No.
Right?
Your house out there on that road?
No.
So all I'm checking was
Dude,
people's
what?
house out there.
The Vermilion daughter lives out there.
Yeah.
They can swim.
But we do it through we do it through the Birmingham Southern College in a partnership with them. Do I have a motion?
No, it's all right. I thought it was already passed. I just have a question about, I had a question about that.
I kinda got lost in all right, discussion of World Games 2022. Press, are you ready? We're gonna carry this over to the agenda for September 6th. I do want to say that I and the County Commission continues our effort to support World Games 2022. Although not contractually obligated, we partner with Birmingham, the state of Alabama, the Convention Bureau, and the corporate community to bring these games to our community. The games were a success in the eyes of the athletes, the fans, the delegations who came, and the 3,400 volunteers who made this possible. On the downside, there does exist outstanding balances. This happens in events of this magnitude. And we'll continue to work with the partners in order to bring all of this to an amicable solution. And with that, I would like to, Mr. President, move this to the committee meeting on September 6th. All right, that concludes my report.
I'll approve your, or move your board appointment to the BZA.
Okay, yeah, I got three, gotta go to the BZA. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion.
Wait, I have a question
On what?
on the World Game.
All right,
Oh, no, that's by the board.
Oh.
this board appointment.
Oh,
For the,
so
for the
we
zoning.
have we talked about the World Game?
He just did, he said, well, I'm going to Europe.
I have a motion and a second. I have a motion and a second on the board appointment. All in favor, please say aye.
You did.
Now, do you have a comment on the program?
No, I was asking what y'all put me on.
Move.
Oh,
So,
that's
to September
oh.
6th. That concludes my report.
Mr. President, before we move further, I wouldn't want the, statement of the finance chair to go unnoticed as it relates to his comments concerning the World Games. I would ask that the media, meet with Helen and that he goes to the step and repeat so that you clearly heard what he said, because the county has no contractual obligation. We are supporting it. And so I think that, I know, and I think that, that statement needs to be clear in terms of who by contract is obligated versus those who are supporting the effort, because we believe it was a positive, move for the county. Okay, so if you all could stick around, that would be great, so they
You
can
want me
get
to
you.
read it again?
I would like for you to state it again.
Jefferson.
I know, right?
Thank you.
I have
Mr. Adams.
two quick items from JCIDA yesterday. The board moved to purchase some land adjacent to what will be the Smucker's property to create a roundabout. So thank you to Heather and her crew and Sam and Associates for putting that together. And that may be some more available land that we will have. It won't be as big, but there'll be more available land out there in Call which will help us environmentally too, with stormwater.
Those roundabouts. I was a little skeptical at first, but those things work.
They're slick.
They're good.
They're slick. And how I know Old Tuscaloosa Highway has become more of a raceway. The design of this will actually turn it off and slow the traffic down, still giving access to the new Gulf Distributing property, and their build-out's almost done, as well as the Smucker's property. Along with another number of things on Macshan and the interstate that are going to be done to help improve traffic up there, which is going to be super important for the long term with the acreage we have out there to still work. On the other vote that was that the notification was made that Ted Von Cannon is retiring, and the board voted to negotiate with a new person for that position, and Othell Phillips was the person that was nominated as that person. Tony Smoke was the head of the nominating committee, so Othell you have about a month and a half to harass him before he leaves and takes.
Oh no, he'll get a whole lot more.
So
What position is it now?
he'll be the new head of JCID.
Take kids' place.
Ted Von Cannon's place.
Economic development.
You probably know what it is. I'm just trying not to say that.
This board decision, they had a nominating committee, we're just going with what they said. Ted, yeah. I'm trying not to say something too, because when they brought it up, I said, I object. I object to this. And
I did too, and ended up getting.
Yeah.
I just said you can't have
You
that.
said that in a meeting, you object?
I did. I was joking.
Yeah.
I can probably hear you saying you're joking. You know what I mean? I didn't think you said it as a statement.
Yeah, no, I did say it jokingly, but it is difficult. You know, once you get a good chief of staff, somebody that has the skill set and the experience that he does, not only as being a mayor for 8 years, where everything you deal with as a mayor in public office, or even as a council member for that matter, there's a wealth of knowledge that's going out there for not only for to support our
It's
office.
also helpful to the Economic Development Committee.
I'm sorry?
It's also helpful to the Economic Development Committee to have Mr. Ophel to be the executive
he is
director.
still
What
a
you trying to say, he gonna be a rubber stamp?
No, I just said he'd be a great help to Economic Development.
He's still required to make regular visits, as we go down the
Talking about regular business here.
Yes.
Yeah, I would tend to fact.
They're gonna give him a car and everything, so he can certainly.
I think it's a genius exit point point to me, I mean, who knew?
I applied, they said no.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would
I
like-
just, it's a wonderful exit.
Congratulations. I would like to remind our roads and trails of all of the economic development that is occurring and they're dependent upon improved infrastructure. Midwest Hospital, Max Shannon, Old Tuscaloosa Highway.
Yeah.
So there, and I will defer to Commissioner Michael, he has items in his district also. These are already on the capital plan. The money is allocated. The only pressure that you have is completing on time ahead of mainly the hospital. So I just reminded everyone that the hospital has actually become vertical now. It's coming out of the ground.
Yep.
And it's the strangest thing I've
Good to
ever
see
seen, to
cranes
have
in the air.
cranes in McCall. So,
So, one quick question, Ms. President. So when does Ted officially leave his post?
He has some vacation, but it's the end of the year. But he has a good number of days vacation saved up, and he'll probably take those. Your first thing would be,
Either gonna be mid-October, first of November.
Where's the office at?
in Lake Shore, over there by Brookwood Hospital. You've been there before.
No, it's over there, what is over there? You said Lake, okay.
Congratulations, old Phil.
Thank you.
I never saw it coming.
Thank you.
Then he'll fine a little bit.
He's such a Corleone. I love it.
He's my consigliere, right?
Commissioners, we're moving directly out of this.
You got
It's 10
time.
o'clock.
I got IT, I got,
I move it, I move all three.
do I have a second?
Okay, is that included in number one too?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I have motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I have one other item that's important, dealing with after the fish report, we had, a meeting with all of the fire chiefs throughout the county yesterday, not only volunteers, but the regular municipalities. Everybody participated, we had about 2 hours worth of conversation. It went very, very well. Next, we're gonna meet with the hospitals and with the pay for-profit ambulance service. And Jimmy, to your point about infrastructure, there's a big issue in some parts of Jefferson County where fire apparatus and rescue units may have a more difficult time getting around, which is going to require editing and copies of it. She's already offered her services to make sure that a lot of that is looked at and taken care of, or at least planned for a program.
I guess the question that I have for the commission now, is there any items that we need to pull for separate consideration?
Are we going on into the?
Well, yeah, 10 o'clock, we just set back up. I was thinking, since the press is here, if we're not gonna have anything, it's gonna be a consent agenda, so.
We do it in here.
We had that one item about that 8% pay raise.
You know, they're on their way.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, I have recognized Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Judge Humphrey is in court, but, she will come to the phone as soon as it's called, and she'll talk to y'all. Y'all will do it.
Can she go ahead and call me
If
out?
you do
Yeah,
that,
that's what,
let's
we
do
will,
it.
we wait,
Let's do it.
yeah, we wait.
All right.
Mr. President, but before we, close the meeting. Did you hear me? Mr. President?
I did hear you, all right, Judge Hilliard
Yeah,
is
she
leaving
wanted
today.
she wanted to do it now?
She's gonna do it now, that's what.
Oh, okay. And then I had a request, please, before we conclude the meeting.
Hey, James, you're on with, commissioners in the committee room.
Okay, 1 second. I'm stepping into Judge Huntley's office. 1 second.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Judge is, she's about to take the call now. 1 second, please.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Judge.
morning.
There's an item on your agenda for an 8% raise for a, I forgot what the technical point is.
The chief probation officer.
Yes, and our question is can you move that to the new budget year instead of doing it now? And the new budget year will be October 1st.
Right, it was not my intention to do it now. It's my intention to do it in a new budget year.
Okay,
And it is in our budget.
perfect. That's the question we had, and so I think we can just start.
So Judge Hilliard,
Yes.
okay, just for, clarification purposes, I just wanted to make sure that you knew the concern, that was raised, was the fact of the 8%, and then if there's additional COLA, cost of living, that could make it probably surpass 13% or right at 13%. So just be cognizant of that, with your budget submission, that was the concern of the overall amount once the cost of living raise is added to it.
Okay, I will make sure that they go back and take a look at our budget submission to ensure that that will be covered as well. I believe that they have already taken that into account, with the submission that we, with our budget submission, but I will have to go back and make sure, that it will be covered.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna take it off the agenda today, okay? And then we'll circle back with you. Is that all right?
Or is there an effective date on what's currently?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that as an
It's an
option.
effective date, October.
It's on there, it's October 1, so that, I think it's good.
Never mind.
We can go ahead on.
We'll go ahead and pass it.
It's not effective until October 1st.
Okay, you'll pass it, but it won't be in effect until October 1st.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you all, I certainly appreciate it.
Thanks for clarifying that for us, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
All right,
take care, everyone.
all right.
So,
Thank you, Mark.
Mr.
Yeah.
President, before we conclude, because I'm sure all of them want to talk to Commissioner Knight.
I have no comment.
Yeah, you do have further comment so that you can state our position clearly.
Now stay here. Stay mine.
I can stay.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can do it. You know?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so nevertheless, Mr. President, if you don't mind, if I just for the sake of, I wanted to yield, the floor, if you don't mind, Mr. President, to a constituent that wanted to, speak, as relates to a particular item.
I think now you're gonna have to be much more particular and tell me what's up.
And wait a minute, we concluded the
We
committee meeting.
didn't conclude yet, that's why I asked.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
all.
we normally don't, that's something we don't normally do.
Okay,
So if you can be a little more,
I'll be very specific there, Mr. President. So we have a constituent that wanted to speak specifically about, their concern about tax dollars for the World Games. And they just made me aware going out the door that they wanted to at least make the commission aware as a taxpayer of what their concern was. And so that was the reason why I was asking if that person can have at least a minute or two.
I don't think that's what they do for that. This is a commission meeting.
Well, hold on, Mr. President. Hold on just a minute. So, Mr. President, respectfully, since this is a committee meeting, not a commission meeting. Okay, hold on. Okay, so hold on, Mr. President. It's a lot of things that's not on the agenda, and when we wanna push it, we do. So here's what I'm gonna suggest to this constituent. You have 3 media outlets, You have 5 commissioners. You count, Mr. Jackson, which one that you think that you would rather hear, the general public or 5 people and some that don't wanna hear it, okay? So, I mean, you know, Mr. President, that's the difference between a committee and a commission meeting, right? And so I get it, I'm good, I'm good,
That's
Mr.
a
President.
precedent, we really don't have to.
Well, Mr. President, truthfully, we've set precedents before,
I understand.
based on,
We did
well, hold on, Mr. President, respectfully. We've set precedents before based on who it is, our little friends, that we won't allow them to speak. And so now, today, there's an objection, and I'm good. I want y'all to be blessed, because I'm not gonna be stressed any longer. So, that being said, you got 3 cameras. If I were you, once this commissioner speaks, you speak to them, and I promise you, you'll reach a lot more people over there than you will with 5 people and some who don't want you to speak. Make sense? All right, Mr. President, you wanna call the meeting to a close?
I do.
Thank you, sir.